Ladies and gentlemen, the rats are terrified. The rats are running scared. What Trump's FBI has just declassified and revealed to the world about Hillary Clinton, about Barack Hussein Obama, about the Democrats, and the level of corruption is shocking. Even to me, someone who's been following politics for the last several years, who reports on politics every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, this level of atrocity, of corruption, of just downright treason is overwhelming. And we're about to get into that. People are going to go to prison. Sooner or later, I have no doubt in my mind, people will go to prison. Smash that thumbs up. Subscribe. Leave me a comment. Where are you tuning in from today? We're diving right into the story. Ladies and gentlemen, happy Saturday. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Rejoice in the Lord. The crooks are going to prison. Now, first thing I want to show you is this. This is something that Kash Patel has been exposing. I mean, this is corruption at the highest level. This is treason at presidential levels that we have never seen in this country before. Now, really quickly, Trump supporting white, straight, conservative male like myself is always fighting an uphill battle when it comes to the algorithm. So please make sure you give the video a thumbs up, comment, throw an American flag in the comments if you're a Trump supporter like I am, and share this video with a friend or two. Send them a link. Let's do this. Let's spread the truth far and wide. Declassified. FBI was investigating 19 Hillary Clinton Foundation bank accounts for campaign finance fraud before the Department of Justice shut down the probe. What? Campaign finance fraud? Wasn't Trump indicted and investigated by Jack Smith for campaign finance fraud? Oh, so rules for thee, just not for me. A newly declassified FBI internal timeline reveals the FBI's Los Angeles field office was investigating 19 Clinton Foundation bank accounts for campaign finance fraud in 2016, but the DOJ shut down the probe. Thanks to Judicial Watch, the American public was made aware of Hillary Clinton's private email server. Hillary Clinton conducted official business on a non-government server so she could hire her Clinton Foundation pay-to-play while she was head of the Department of State. According to emails obtained by Judicial Watch, Hillary Clinton gave preferential treatment to Clinton Foundation donors while she was Secretary of State. Think about this. All of the far-left extremists and the liberal media, what do they keep screaming about Trump right now? Oh, he is making everything fine for his friends. It's his friends that are getting rich, while the poor people are getting more poor. He's destroying the middle class and making more money for the billionaires and trillionaires. When it was literally our Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, who had a pay-to-play scheme. We also know that the Bidens had a pay-to-play scheme. The Gateway Pundit previously reported that a smoking gun email from Obama's Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates explicitly ordered FBI agents to shut down a criminal corruption probe into the Clinton Foundation. Then Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates directly instructed the FBI to shut down the Clinton Foundation investigation, effectively granting the Clintons immunity from further scrutiny during the 2016 election cycle. Sally Yates ordered investigation to, quote, shut it down. So the FBI was investigating Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation, but the DOJ under Obama by Yates reached out to the FBI and said, shut it down. By the way, after this story, Donald Trump is doing something about elections. He said, we are going to make sure 2020 is never repeated again. So stay tuned. As soon as we're done with this article, we're jumping onto that. Additionally, according to the newly declassified documents, the FBI was investigating at least 19 Clinton Foundation bank accounts for campaign finance fraud. SC redacted, CID received a telephone call from redacted, who requested follow-up information concerning the 19 CF bank accounts obtained by LAFO during a separate campaign finance fraud investigation. He also requested a copy of the redacted. So we don't see the names right now, but we know people were looking into her for campaign finance fraud. President Trump was indicted on 34 felony counts by Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg for a campaign finance violation for paying porn star Stormy Daniels $130,000 in hush money through his then attorney, Michael Cohen, in a scheme to silence her and stop the story about their alleged affair from being published in the National Inquiry. So Trump was indicted on 34 felony counts for campaign finance violations. 19 of her bank accounts were being investigated by the FBI for campaign finance fraud. She never gets indicted. Interesting. Bragg elevated the Stormy hush payment case from a misdemeanor to a felony in an effort to get Trump. Meanwhile, the campaign finance fraud investigation into the Clinton Foundation was shut down by crooked DOJ deep state. It was previously reported as many as 40 state Democrat parties were implicated in a large scheme to circumvent campaign finance laws in order to illegally funnel money to Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, this is corruption at absolutely the highest levels, treasonous levels. And here's the thing. And here's the biggest thing. Okay, there's corruption, there's campaign finance violations and fraud. And you cover up for your friends, for your party members, whatever it might be. But when you, on one hand, are covering for your corrupt friends, and you are making sure they don't go to prison and they stay out of prison and their bank accounts don't get shut down. But on the other hand, if you go then and indict your political opponent on the same things you know for sure you and your friends are guilty of, that takes your corruption to a whole new level, right? Covering up for your friend is one thing, but then going after your political opponent for the same thing that your friends are doing, but your friends are doing it at a much higher level, you are scum. Now, let's move on to what Trump shared yesterday about Putin, what Putin told him about the 2020 election, and about what Trump thinks needs to happen.
You have mail-in voting. He said mail-in voting every election. He said no country has mail-in voting. It's impossible to have mail-in voting and have honest elections. And he said that to me. It was very interesting because we talked about 2020. He said, you won that election by so much. And that's how he got it. He said, and if you would have won, we wouldn't have had a war. You'd have all these millions of people alive now instead of dead. And he said, and you lost it because of mail-in voting. It was a rigged election. But mail-in voting, Sean, the politicians, I think I'm going to make it a big, I know the answer is that Jimmy Carter, years ago, along with Scoop Jackson and some others, they had a committee, respected people, good committee, Jimmy Carter, good guy. You know, he's a good man. And the conclusion was you can't have mail-in voting. We have mail-in voting. It's so dishonest. They send stuff. Some people get 7 ballots. Look at California with that horrible governor they have. He's one of the worst governors in history. He's incompetent. He doesn't know what he's doing. They send out like 38 million ballots. Some people get 5, 6, 7. But Vladimir Putin, smart guy, said you can't have an honest election with mail-in voting. And he said there's not a country in the world that uses it now.
Oh, I would love to see election reform.
We have to do it. I don't know why we're not doing it.
No,
and you bring it up. The Democrats don't want it. Look, the Republicans want it, but not strongly enough. I mean, they got to want it strong, because it can't be honest. It goes through a postman. It goes through somebody else. You know, when you go to a really well-run voting booth, you go in, you have to hand a card, a picture, or this or that. You don't have everything perfect. You get sent back. Go get it. It's very hard to do something fraudulent with a vote.
Paper ballots.
Mail-in voting, they give you boxes of stuff. You have no idea where they came from. This mail-in voting, you can't have a great democracy, republic. You can't have it. Well, maybe that's why we're going to end up with a communist mayor in New York. I don't know. He probably is very happy with mail-in ballot. But you can't have a great democracy with mail-in voting.
Voter ID, signature verification, chain of custody controls, updated voter rolls, partisan observers watching the voting all day, the vote counting all night. You do paper ballots, you pick a winner, and everyone goes home with confidence in the integrity.
For 10% of the cost.
Yeah.
So if you do paper ballots, it costs you 10% the cost of machines.
Let me ask you this.
Okay, that's the end of that. It's actually 8% of the cost. They've done multiple research studies, and it's what we spend on our elections right now. If we did voter ID, proof of citizenship, one person, one vote, one day, it would only be 8%. So for every $100 that we spend now, it would only be $8. For my closing statements, ladies and gentlemen, number one, these investigations and these declassifications of the crimes, fraud, corruption, and treason by the Democrat Party and the rhinos are being investigated. They're being exposed. Things are being declassified at speeds and levels we've never seen before in this country. On the flip side, we have Donald Trump trying to make peace in the world. And even foreign leaders are bringing up to him like, you won the 2020 election. We know you did. You got to get rid of mail-in voting. There's two possible outcomes the way I see these next 3.5 years going. Number one, and this is what we all want. We see arrests. We see people held accountable. We see people go to jail and made an example out of for corruption, for fraud, for election crimes, for, pay-to-play schemes, for installing Joe Biden, for ouchie Fauci and the test run that they did with the jab, for the auto pen. We see people held accountable and made an example of for future generations of politicians, Democrats, Republicans, and everyone in between. Don't be corrupt. If you get into politics, be honest, because you might end up like those guys, like Obama, like Hillary, like Brennan. And at the same time, our elections are fixed. We do it the right way. No mail-in votes, in person, everything the way it's supposed to be. And if that happens, our country is going to be great again. Our country, our elections are going to be free and fair. We are going to know a winner by midnight on election night, right? We won't have all these big arguments and fights over who won and who lost. Also, our politicians are going to be honest, and it's going to be great. But listen. But if we don't, and if they get away and no one's arrested, if after we find out all this dirt, all this corruption, all this treason, after everything that's being exposed, nothing happens, no one gets indicted, no one gets arrested, no one goes to prison, and no one's made an example of, what kind of message that's going to send? That's going to send a message that if you're a politician in this country, you can literally get away with murder. And yes, Hillary Clinton, I am talking about your former aide in Arkansas who was found in the middle of the woods, hanging from a tree with 3 shotgun shots to the back. The shotgun was never found, and apparently he did it himself. That's what the judgment was. You guys know the story. Or all these chefs, the Clinton chef, the Obama chef, who are professional paddle boarders and professional swimmers, somehow drown in 2 feet of water. Interesting. But there's 2 possible outcomes from everything that's happening. Either one, people go to prison, people are indicted, and they're made an example of, and they send a message to future politicians: don't be a corrupt POS. Or nothing happens. Election fraud continues. The divisiveness continues. The fraud continues. Politicians, not only do they stay corrupt, they're going to be even more corrupt. You know why they're going to be more corrupt? Because they're not going to be scared of anything. They're going to say, look, the whole country knows what those guys did, and they never got in trouble. They literally there was an attempted coup against President Donald Trump, and nothing happened. No one was ever held accountable. No one was arrested. No one was indicted. No one went to prison. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to stay corrupt. They're going to be even more corrupt. And we are going to turn into Europe. Look at how corrupt European countries are. Look at Germany. Look at France. Look at Macron. I mean, these people are pathetic. They're corrupt. Why? Because politicians aren't being held accountable. Do you know, look, let's all admit that there was a time in all of our lives when somebody did something to us or to a loved one, and we just wanted to go and take care of business. We were emotional. We were angry. We were like, I want revenge. You hurt a family member. But we didn't. Because we knew if we did, we'd go to prison for life or get the death penalty. Even if I just go beat him up the way I want to, I'm going to go to prison for a decade. Why? Because people before that did the same thing, even if it's someone hurt their family and they went and got revenge on behalf of their family, they still went to prison. Why? Because people were made an example of, and so we kind of controlled our emotions. Even though we wanted to, we didn't. The reason these politicians are committing crime, fraud, corruption is because they know other politicians have gone before them, committed the same crime, fraud, or, corruption at even higher levels, and they got away with it. Nothing ever happened. So unless someone's made an example of, nothing's going to change. I'm sorry. If nobody's made an example of in these next 3.5 years, then the historic 2024 election is, sadly, after Trump, what's going to change? Another rhino? Another Democrat? This is why people need to be made an example of. The reason we don't go out and get revenge whenever somebody, when something bad happens, is because we know there are people in prison who went and justly beat the brakes off someone for harming their family or friends or doing something that's bad. But I don't want to go to prison because someone else did it and now they're in prison. These politicians get away with crime because no one has ever made an example of politicians. But you know what the worst part about it all is? Do you know what they do? So Trump, you know why they really indicted Trump? You know why they really raided his house? You know why Kennedy was unalived in front of the whole world? Do you know why they really wanted to unalive Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania? They wanted to send a message to everybody who wants to run for politics and not be full of corruption. They were trying to send a message. They sent a message with Kennedy, and from Kennedy to Trump, Trump's the only outsider, the only true president who's not owned by big corporations and foreign lobbyists. And then they were going to do the same thing with Trump and send you and me and everyone else a message. If you're an outsider, don't run for president. Don't run for office. We're going to indict you. We're going to raid your home. We're going to go through your wife's underwear drawer. We're going to shame you, embarrass you. There's going to be a mugshot. And then you're going to get shot in the ear on stage with cameras rolling. It's time we make an example out of them. It's time that we send a message to them. Corruption ends now. Using American political system to get rich ends now. And I don't care that Joe Biden's retarded. He was committing crimes before. He was mentally not there. He's always been a crook and a corrupt guy. Lock him up. Lock up his son. Look at his son now going around on interviews. Epstein introduced Ivanka to Trump. What? Can we get evidence? Can you prove that? No. And they get away with saying this stuff because no one ever does anything about it. Well, it's time to do something about it and time to hold them accountable. Corruption on both sides of the aisle ends now. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, God bless you. Smash that thumbs up. I'll see you guys soon. Stay tuned. Have a great weekend. God bless you. And really quickly, I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. Truly. Everyone that watches the show, God bless you. Thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. Stay MAGA.